Hey guys, it's Melissa and Daisy. You're gonna get an upfront view of what she's up to today. Wanted to give you an update as far as what has been going on since this last Friday. I was intending on trying to get in to do a video for you sooner. It just wasn't really a possibility. One thing that I am noticing with this medication is that I am not getting enough sleep at night. I could go to bed at 10:30 and I am still waking up through the night, or I am waking up exhausted. So not really a complaint, but sure would be nice to feel like I'm getting some sleep. Okay, so what has been happening over the last few days? Saturday morning, there was a 7:30 visit to the doctor's office for blood work and ultrasound. Started with the ultrasound because obviously I had to wait for the blood work to come back. It was a really positive visit where there was clear, defined eggs. So the goal for them to get to, in order for them to be viable, mature eggs, is 1.8. They actually told me that today. On Saturday, I had 6 growing on the left side. So the left side's doing really good. Their average was between 1.4 and 1.7. The right side had 6 for a total of 13, between about the same amount. But then there's also a lot of little ones. They were expressing a little bit of concern because of the estrogen levels on the previous visit. I can't remember if I said, but they've reduced the Puragon from 150 down to 100. The goal is to slow down how much estrogen I have been producing. So when I got the phone call later on that day, the estrogen had progressed to 5,000. They were happy with that number, so they decided to leave it at 100 Puragon a day with the 0.1 of the Lupron and the 75 of the Menopur. From Saturday until Sunday, as far as side effects go, wasn't that bad. There is a few to speak of. First, it was weird, the sensations I was starting to feel, especially after the ultrasound. Just a lot of heaviness. When you move, it's the first time I really noticed that I could feel things moving around with me. It's a weird sensation, but I wouldn't say necessarily that it was uncomfortable or that it was painful. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it would be about a 2 or a 3, so it wasn't that bad. Moodiness, I noticed it a bit more. I know my husband noticed it probably more than I did. And I'm starting to feel a little bit of, I don't want to use the word depression, but very similar, very sad, very weepy. The most I can maybe describe it as is just a lot of apprehension going into this procedure. So I think in the very first video that I had done, I talked a little bit about our history. I've been through 8 IUIs at our other clinic, and I think there's a certain amount, and I don't think that you can ever get used to it, but prepare a little bit more for the negative pregnancy test. Needed to have an intermission there. Cats are going crazy. I have 2. Crazy cat lady, I know. But, okay, so I was talking about the IUIs and just sort of getting used to or getting prepared for the negative pregnancy test. Not that you ever actually get used to it, but there's a certain block that you put on that you just expect it, and you're just hoping for it to be different than normal. But when you're used to a specific outcome, then you can anticipate it. I've had a total of 3 miscarriages. I'm pretty sure I talked about that before. So some of those feelings coming up as well. And yeah, I would maybe describe it as depression, where when you're going into a process like this, especially when you're committing to injections all the time, and there's a lot of commitment to it, not just for yourself, but with your spouse also. I want it to be successful. I don't want there to be any hiccups on it. You don't go into the process expecting that it's going to not work. I have to acknowledge that I don't think And in fact, I know my husband doesn't really know what it's like to go through that because it's my personal journey. He knows what it's like to get the negative pregnancy tests, and he knows what it's like to have gone through a miscarriage, but and I'm just assuming here, it could be entirely different, but I would just assume that his emotions on the thing is very different than mine, or that he's working through it very different than what I have. He had his own other issues to go through when we had gone through it in the first place, but he was still very supportive. And he doesn't want to even think about anything bad happening, but I'm the one that worries. I'm the one that tries to compartmentalize everything. So I've been very needy and very weepy, and I've been demanding, having him around and having him there all the time. And for guys, I don't know if they necessarily understand it, or probably just they don't understand it, and they can't because they're not a woman. But I have to give him credit. He's trying his best. Like, he's a very, very good guy. So today I went in 7:30 in the morning, came really fast last night. I had a hard time going to bed on time. I think I actually fell asleep right around 1. Got in, did the blood work, went in for the ultrasound, and there was sizes between 1.1 all the way up to 1.7. Excuse me. But there was a lot there. So the doctor was saying that she had some concerns, but she wanted to wait until the blood work finally came in. Got the phone call today around 1:30, and my estradiol had gone up to 14,000. They have concerns about ovarian hyperstimulation. I personally don't know that much about it. I have a friend that went through it, and she was exceptionally sick. Gives me a little bit of anxiety, not gonna lie. So I'm working through those feelings and emotions now. At least I don't have to worry that I'm not producing eggs. What the nurse had said is just to be aware that they have hyperstimulation in the back of their mind, but they are they're taking me off the Puregon, trying to slow that down and to let the eggs that I have growing continue to grow and to mature. I'm going back in tomorrow morning for another blood work and ultrasound. That should determine when I'm doing the IVF retrieval. The question that they have, and this will maybe be figured out tomorrow, is if they do the retrieval, will I be doing the transfer? If I do swell and if I go into hyperstimulation, they're not going to want to do the transfer right away. They're probably going to make me wait about a month to 2 months to heal. Makes me sad, but obviously I don't want to lose the opportunity that I have with the eggs that I have. The risk that you run, and this is just what my understanding is that not all eggs survive the freezing process. I am hoping. I'm hoping that everything works out well. So Daisy's coming back to say hi. You coming to say hi, girl? Yeah. Yeah. So that's my story. That's where I'm at. We have an appointment tomorrow, and that should give us a really good idea as far as what our next steps are, but it's stressful. And it's going to be worth it, right? So even if we're not able to do our transfer right away, at least we'll have something at the end of the day, God willing. So thank you very much for listening and for tuning in, and for being there. Thanks, Daisy, too. Bye, guys.